So what we're going to do now is we're going to send you over to video. We'll be in chat. If you do have questions, it really helps us if you click on the little bubble on the side of the chat interface to let us know it's a question. That way we identify, especially if it's really busy in the chat. If it's really busy in the room, then we might miss the odd question. But when it's marked as a question, we don't miss it. All right, with that, the video is a little long, 28 minutes. We'll see you on the other side. All right, looking forward to this. We're going to be talking about browser extensions today, and when I show them to you, we're primarily going to be using the Chrome browser, which is the browser that I use the most. But before we dive into the actual browser extensions that I use, let me talk a little bit about the technology of browser add-ons or browser extensions and how different browsers use them. Because all the browsers work with extensions in a slightly different way, but they all still use extensions. Extensions are just designed to extend the functionality of a web browser to allow us to do special things and unique things that are not built into the browser's main code. So I'll show you how to do it more in Chrome in a few moments. We'll be working in Chrome most of the time. So let's jump over quickly just to make sure that you, depending on what browser you use, that you're comfortable with the overall philosophy of these browsers. If you're a Mac user and you use Safari, all of the different browsers that we're going to show you can be managed by going under the Safari menu, going into Preferences. When you go into Preferences, you've got these different tools available to you along the very top. If you go right along to the second to last one, you have Extensions, and you can manage all of your extensions that you've installed in Safari, just the same way as we're going to be doing in Chrome, right from here. If you want to add new ones, you click on More Extensions, and that launches you into the Apple Store, or into Apple's, I think it's the Apple Store, where they've got all of the different browser extensions that you can download, and you can do a search for them, and you can install them just with a click here on within this web page, and that will install them in Safari. And then, as I say, you manage them within that by going under your Preferences, into Extensions, and there you can manage, you can install, uninstall, and configure them if they need be. So that's the story in Safari. If we jump over into Firefox, same story, just a slightly different menu. In Firefox, they call them add-ons, and we go under the Tools menu, and when you click there, it launches you into your management area for your add-ons, and you can acquire new ones here, you can manage them all from this location here. So each of the browsers works with extensions in a slightly different way, but mechanically they all pretty much work the same. They have a web page that you go to where you manage, you install, uninstall, enable, disable all of the different browsers, and a way to search to find new browsers or new browser extensions when you need it. So that's the overall story of how browser extensions works. And we have several videos on this on the channel as well, kind of talking through the entire concept of using browser extensions. So let's talk a little bit about the extensions that I use every day. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's probably 6 or 7 that I come to rely on that I absolutely use every day, and other ones that I find really unique and creative and really solve little small issues and problems. So I'm going to take you through those, and then when we're finished this part today, when we go into the Q&A, when we return to you live, I'll be fascinated to hear your favorite extensions, and I'm hoping you're going to share them with us as we go along. But I'm going to kind of take you through by order that I know that I install them when I'm setting up a new system, because there are certain extensions that I have to have, and by order of importance. And let's begin with security and privacy in Lastpass. Lastpass is a security tool, password manager that I use. I've also used 1Password, Dashlane. There's a variety of these different password managers, and each one of them installs and will install as a browser extension into your web browser, because that's where you want to use your password manager for the most part. It's to get us into and out of our different online accounts is the main thing that we use a password manager for. So it's natural that it should become an extension to a web browser. Now here I have LastPass installed, and when we click on it, up comes our LastPass account. You have to sign on through your master account when you first set it up, but this is a place that we can go to manage all of our accounts. And the cool thing is, once you've got it installed, when you go, let's just head over, when you go in, kind of how the rubber meets the road, if I go to my WordPress login, for example, for my website, when I go there, I don't think I'm logged in right now. Let's take a look. Yeah, good, I'm not. Up comes the password manager, which allows me to then choose my username and the highly encrypted password that Lastpass uses. And so this allows me to log into all of my different sites. So whenever it comes to a login page, it will then allow you to log in using your authorized credentials that are built into Lastpass. As far as security goes, it's a boon. But really, it's a productivity tool because it saves me so much time as I'm going from one account to another account, entering them, not having to worry about typing in passwords, not having to look up and remember the password. LastPass works as my security partner. In this particular case, it's the first thing that I install on each machine. Now, LastPass isn't the only tool. I think, as far as I'm concerned, if you're using 1Password, if you're using Dashlane, if you're using any of the other good password managers, you are just as far ahead. But make sure that you install it in your browser properly and it's all set up to go. And really, browser extensions are one of the things that, regardless of what tool you're using, especially online services, you should always check to see if there's a browser extension available for that service. Because often there's going to be one that does a subset of whatever you use that tool for. And you'll see most of the browser extensions I'm showing you right now, I use the full-blown app for other purposes in the browser extension for some of the really quick things that we do. So philosophically, make sure you're checking to see if there's a browser extension available for the tools that you use a lot. Speaking of tools I use a lot, the next one is the Evernote Web Clipper, which is, you all know that I'm a huge fan of Evernote. I use Evernote on a daily basis, hourly basis probably. It's the heart of my productivity system. And a big part of the reason that I'm so successful with Evernote and I like it so much is the Evernote Web Clipper. And here's how the Evernote Web Clipper works for me on a daily basis. Every day I'm looking for new information. I spend part of my morning doing research, and a big part of that research is going into different videos that we're going to be making or things that I want to share in social media, where I'm kind of curating content for my community. And so as I look through the day's news, here's today's news is Google's being fined $2.7 billion. Good heavens, poor Google. Did you feel sorry for them? Yeah, we all do. But here, this might be an article that I want to save. I want to save it, and because I want to use it as research for a blog post I'm writing or a video I'm creating. So I could have just grabbed this URL and then save it into a document somewhere, but then I have to remember the document name and all sorts of things, and I got multiple steps that I have to go through. The Evernote Web Clipper, when it's installed in your browser, allows me to just click on the tool, and then it pops up this series of options that allows me to choose whether I want to capture the article, which contains everything that's in the article, the full page, which contains everything that's on the entire page, including all of the ads and all of the sidebar information, or my favorite, the simplified article, which strips out all of the extra content and just saves the meat of the story. Isn't that beautiful? Very easy to read. And it takes all of this information and then allows us to save it into our Evernote account, into whatever notebook we want, attach any tags that we might want to attach, and then it allows us to save that article to our Evernote account so that I can access it when I need it in the future. This has become a process that I do on a daily basis, and it's a way that we curate and collect all of the information that makes Dottotech so valuable as a content delivery entity, because I'm able to find, when I see something of interest, I'm able to store it for when we need it in the future. A big part of what we do. The Evernote Web Clipper, I'd be lost without it. Now, another thing that happens as I'm doing all of this research, as I'm going through it, is if you take a look actually at a previous webinar we did a couple of weeks ago called OPC, Other People's Content, How We Use Twitter. When I find a story of interest, I use this tool here. I use this tool, BuzzSumo, to find what are the trending stories and what are the most interesting topics that everybody's talking about. And when I read an article that I find interesting and compelling, I feel my community is also interested and compelled by that article. So then I use a tool called Buffer, which allows me to take that content. Actually, let's go back to this one here and do it. Which allows me to take that content of that web page and share it in one of my social platforms. So I can take this article about Google being fined and I can share it out to Twitter using Buffer. Now I can have Buffer share it right away or put it into a queue. I've got a queue of all of the different content that I'm curating. So I usually have 20 to 30 articles or posts ready to go of interesting things that I've read over the last day or so that I believe my community is interested in. This is a big part of our content strategy. Buffer serves us in this area because it drips that information out to our community in a controlled metaphor or a controlled way. And the Buffer browser add-on allows me to quickly schedule new content to add. So I'm going to just set this up to go out next. Oops, I added it to the queue already. So it's been added to the queue. That's fine. So now it will be included in the queue for Buffer to be sent out. Now, the way that we do things on Dottotech, we use two different tools for managing our social media. We use Buffer for other people's content, for curating all of this content. And then we use Agorapulse for our own content, for our own internal content. But Agorapulse, like Hootsuite, another social media dashboard, also has browser plugins available. And this browser plugin does the same thing that we just saw Buffer do. It allows us to take an article, choose what social networks we want to send it to. It grabs all of the information out of that article, grabs all the links, grabs the photos, and it builds a post for us that we can then add to a queue, or we can schedule in. Either we can post it right away, or we can schedule it or put it into a queue. Now, the reason that we don't do all of our articles through Agorapulse is in Agorapulse we choose to schedule and publish Dottotech only content. So anything that we create, we publish through Agorapulse, and anything somebody else creates, we publish through Buffer. And it's how we basically manage our content strategy here on Dottotech. Now, you don't have to do it that way. If you don't have the kind of content publishing strategy that we have, and you just like to be able to share things when you find them interesting, then just installing the Agorapulse extension by itself and using it exclusively would be just fine. That would be a fine way to go. But as you see, and if you're using Hootsuite, you've got the same functionality built into the Hootsuite browser plugin. And if you use Sprout Social, they have one as well. Almost all the tools are going to have a browser extension that will do something similar. So that's our content publishing strategy. Now, the next thing I want to show you is how I try to not look like an idiot a lot of the time, and that is my online spell and grammar checker. Now, I use a tool called Grammarley, which is interesting. It gets a lot of response. You know, we did a video on it over a year ago, and it's got a lot of views on YouTube. And a lot of people hate the idea of using online spell and grammar checking. A lot of people tell me I should just learn how to spell correctly, and a lot of people love it. So it's a tool you either love or you hate. For me, it's saved my bacon so many times I can't even tell you. But what it does is, because I've got the premium extension installed, whenever I'm writing anything in a browser window, it's spell checking and grammar checking that content. So here I am in a Facebook post, and as you can see, I made 2 mistakes in here. And as I go through, Grammarly has caught them all and is telling me that I can correct them. And there's a little notification badge here telling me there's one area of concern in this particular post. And actually, if I click on it, it'll expand it out into a browser, and it will allow me to actually see it highlighted, make a change, and then I can go back to Facebook, and it's corrected all of the different issues, and now my post is ready to go if I'm ready to publish it with all the corrections in place. So Grammarly, as a spelling and grammar checker, is another extension that I install right away and use on an ongoing basis. If you're blessed with wonderful spelling and wonderful grammar, you probably don't need this tool. And there are other tools that will do it similarly. I'm looking forward to hearing which tools you folks use in all of these different areas once we get into the Q&A. But Grammarly is the one that I choose here. Now, continuing on in the theme of the different tools that I use, the different products that I use on a daily basis, and looking at the browser extensions that work with those, the next browser extension you see here is my Asana extension. And again, a couple of weeks ago, we talked to you about how we use Asana to manage all of our team tasks and projects. Well, if I've got a very quick assignment to myself or somebody else, a quick task and to do, I can create it just by clicking on the browser add-on. I can add the information about it right here, and it creates an automatic assignment of a task within Asana. And so it's a very quick way to assign stuff, especially for other people. I love using it to assign tasks to other people. But there's the Asana plugin, which is another tool that I use on an ongoing basis. Now, speaking of my team, the next tool has, in a few ways, kind of revolutionized how I communicate, especially kind of delicate issues, things that might take me a long time to explain in an email. Now, you should know that the Dottotech team lives across the world. We've got Liz in London, all the way to Sophia, who's down in Houston, Texas, and me here on the West Coast in Vancouver. So we're far flung. So we're not always in the same time zone. So when I'm working on something or asking somebody to do something, they're not always available to have a quick chat. I use this tool, and again, we have a video online for this tool called ViewEdit, which, man, has it ever turned out to be a wonderful tool. It's a simple little browser plugin that when you use it, it basically does a simple screen capture, a screen record, but it'll record your camera, your mic, and what's happening on the screen. And the unique thing about it is, once it's captured that, it saves the resultant video in the web, on the web, in the cloud, so that I can just share the link with the person who I'm talking to, and they can view it instantly. So there's no saving the file and then uploading the file and forwarding it. There's none of that. They just get a web link. So here's an example. A couple of weeks ago, we were working on a little bit of it was just something that we were getting confused about, how we were going to manage something within our website. We're building a new website, and we're going to have an embed code that captures some information. And it was just getting a little bit confusing between Liz and I. Now, Liz is in London, England. So I recorded this. Hey, Liz. Took a sip of my coffee. I got your note on wanting the embed code, which is fine. I'll send it to you. But I think that we're looking at this backwards. All of our other opt-in forms link to Infusionsoft and then pull the data from Infusionsoft in the form. Infusionsoft pulls the data from the form to it with this. Let me show you. So basically, I was just showing her that we were looking at things backwards. And by being able to go into the screens and show her the screens, and how long was this video? This video was 1:33. By recording this video, I was able to explain it far more clearly than I could have by typing it out, and let her get the information that much more effectively. So she just clicked on the link, watched the video for a minute, and she wrote me back almost immediately in Asana saying, okay, now I get it. This is what we need to do. So it really clarifies communication. Again, a free tool called ViewEdit, or ViewEdit or ViewEdit. I don't know which way they want it to be pronounced, but it's a tool that we're using and with increasing frequency here on Dottotech. Another free add-on. Okay, now the next tool that I have installed is Bitly, and I don't use that all that often, but it's a nice convenience. So Bitly is, of course, a link shortener that allows you to take long and complicated links and shorten them down. Now, in the past, what you'd do is you'd just copy a link, you'd go to the Bitly website, you'd put the link into a field there, and it would shorten it for you, and then you'd copy the resulting link. This tool just reduces by 3 or 4 the number of clicks you have to do. When you're at a page and you want to share the link, let's go back to this New York Times article. If I just wanted to share this link and I wanted to share it in social media and I didn't want to have the long URL, I can just go to the web page that I'm on. Now, once I'm there, click on the Bitly, add-on, and then it takes that page. It looks at whatever page you're on at that moment, and it shortens that page. So there's the shortened code for that page. If I click copy, it puts it directly onto my clipboard, so now I can use it wherever I want. If I decide, I can share it out as well. I can use this to share it directly, immediately to social platforms, but for the most part, you're going to want to copy it. You can also see the different analytics on it as you kind of go along, and all available from here as well. But the real benefit here is just creating that link with a single click. One click, copy to your clipboard, you're ready to go. It's pretty awesome, actually. Okay, the next tool that I have is... It's not really a productivity tool, but for me, it's a peace of mind tool. You might find it a curiosity as well. It is called the Facebook Pixel Helper, and all it does is it looks on any page you're on, and it tells you exactly which Facebook pixels are installed on that page that are starting to track you. And so you might be curious to see who's tracking you and who's following, or who's tracking your actions online as you go to each page. So here we see the New York Times. They've got a ton of different tracking code that they have installed on there so that they can retarget marketing a little bit later. But where I use it the most is on my own site. When we're installing Facebook pixels on our own site and setting things up for doing different online Facebook campaigns, once I've installed the pixel, I use the Facebook Pixel Helper for peace of mind to see, oh yes, the pixel is installed and it's operating properly. And if we click on it, we can see exactly what all of the different details of the pixel are. So that, from my perspective, it's a real peace of mind tool, making sure that I know that when I've installed a pixel that it's set up and tracking properly. And the Facebook Pixel Helper, again, another free tool, allows us to do that. All right. Now we're going to change channels completely, and we're going to jump into our email side. Now, the email tool that I use that's a browser plugin most regularly is one called Boomerang. Now, what Boomerang does is it allows me to do a variety of things to my Gmail account. Now, I use Gmail in the browser as my main email platform, as my main email tool. So Boomerang, and again, we've got a really good video which we'll share with you on how Boomerang works, but it does a few things for me. The first thing that it does is it allows me to take an email that comes in and basically send it off into limbo and then return to me when I'm ready to deal with it. So it allows me to defer stuff so my inbox isn't full of stuff that I can't do anything about. It also allows me to schedule emails to send them a little bit later, so that if I'm, say, sending an email to somebody at 11 o'clock at night, I don't want it to appear in their inbox at 7 in the morning when they first come in with everybody else's email. Instead, I schedule it for 11 a.m. so maybe it's not going to be caught in the initial flush of email coming through. Or maybe I don't want them to know I'm working at 11 o'clock at night, so they think I sent it to them at 11 o'clock the next morning. We have that kind of functionality as well. And Boomerang also allows us to track who's opened our emails, etc., in a variety of different ways. So it's got a lot of different functionality. I encourage you to view the video on it if you are using Gmail, or if you use Outlook. It works for both, but Boomerang is one of the most useful add-ons that we've added to that. And again, it's based on a browser extension. The next few that you see here, I don't necessarily use every day. We have to have browser extensions installed for doing things like sharing our screen when we're using our different webinar platforms. So those are the tools that you see installed here, as well as one called TubeBuddy, which does all of my different marketing and analytics when I'm actually in YouTube. So those are specialized browser plugins, which we're not going to spend a lot of time on right now. But I'm going to talk to you about one more, and then I'm going to show you how we install, and then what my research has indicated are some of the more popular ones that I'm not using that I might consider using. So the first one that you don't see reflected here, but actually you see reflected here in the very, very top, is one called RescueTime. Now, RescueTime is a productivity tool that measures our activities online and gives us a report back of what we're doing that's productive and what we're doing that's not productive. Now, you can install it as a browser plugin, or in our case, it's installed as a system extension. It works the same way in either case, but there's this dashboard that it has, which we go to, which tells us what we've been spending time on today and how productive that time is. And you can see here that it's considered, as I've been recording this today, it's not considering it to be super high in productivity, but you can go through and you can determine when you're on different websites, whether it's productive and good use of your time or whether it's poor use of your time. And as you see here, that it's taken us through all of the different sites that I've been searching and working on, and the different utilities that I've been using, and talking to me about just how much time I've spent on that. Now, at the end of the day, this is a great tool for you, because you take a look at your report, and if you realize, wow, I'm spending way more time in email than I ever thought I did, or I'm spending an awful lot of time it doesn't just track your time on browser-based things, but if you're spending a lot of time in Photoshop, maybe it's time that you hire a graphic designer to work with you. So it gives you some great feedback as far as that goes. So for me, RescueTime has become a tool that really defines where I'm spending my time, where I'm losing productivity, and it installs, as we say, for the most part, it's monitoring your time spent online. Tremendously valuable from that perspective. So those are the main tools that I use on an ongoing basis. But in doing my research, before this, I did a search of what other people are using and which tools they use the most as far as browser extensions. And I came up with a couple that I thought are worth at least mentioning to you to see if they might be of some appeal. Now, the first one, I admit, is kind of a thing for me, but it's one called Colorzilla, which allows you to have an eyedropper tool to find the color of anything online. Because I'm always looking at different color patterns and different palettes and saying, wow, that's a color that works. And then I send it to Liz saying, is this a color that works? So rather than saying it's kind of a purplish brown, I can just choose a color and share it with her. And it's obviously, if you're creating graphics, it allows you to very accurately duplicate that color as well. Now, so here, let me show you how you find these. So here we are in the Chrome extensions area, and you can see all of the different browser extensions that I have installed. Now, a lot of them are not enabled. They're not checked off because we're constantly testing different browser extensions here on Dottotech. So you can see I've got a lot installed that I'm not going to use, and I should probably delete a lot of these. For example, this one here, I found out it didn't work the way I wanted it at all, so I'm just going to remove that. But these are, I keep these around just in case I have to test them out because somebody's asked a question of us on YouTube, etc. So this is the management area. To get more extensions, to add a new one, you just click on the Get More Extensions, and that brings you into the Chrome Web Store. And there, let's look for that color. What did I call it? Colorzilla. So there it is, Colorzilla. You choose it. Have a read, decide if it's something that you want to add. If you want to add it to Chrome, you just click Add to Chrome. It's now adding the extension. And here we've got this color picker tool that's available to us. It tells us a little bit how it works. So now let's go back to our site, Dottotech, and let's say maybe we want to know the color of that color there in that graphic. Let's see if it works. I'm going to see. Choose the color to pick a color from the page. And it converts it, and I'm just going to click here. Oh yeah, look. Just see here at the top, it's got, as I roll it over top of everything, including the logos, the words in the text. There's that orange that we use. There it is right there. I've just colored it. I've just copied it to the clipboard. Pretty sweet. So that's how easy it is to install an additional extension. And that one is one that you might be interested in. Now, the other ones that I looked at, there's two other ones that really caught my mind. Oh, three other ones. One of them is called OneTab. Now, what OneTab does, and all you have to do, if you find something, is type it in. Here's OneTab. And you click on it. It gives you a description. Save up to 95% of your memory and reduce the clutter. So what it does is it takes all of your open tabs in Chrome and reduces them to a single document with clickable links within the document. So if you want to, if you've done a whole bunch of research, you've got a ton of tabs open where you've done research and you don't want to have all those tabs open, you can use OneTab to take all of those tabs and convert them into a single page, which is going to take a lot less resources, and basically you can save for the future so you don't have to save all of those open tabs. Pretty cool thing. Again, click here to add to Chrome. The next thing I wanted to show you, the one that the people use a lot and talk a lot about, is one called Taco. And I think it sounds like just the thing which allows you to take multiple services like Asana, Basecamp, Gmail, OmniFocus, Trello, and bring them all together into a single unified kind of to-do list, master to-do list. So if you use Google's the Google tasks as for assigning quick tasks, but you use Asana for most of your stuff, you can have them both come together and be displayed. All of your upcoming tasks be displayed, and all of your upcoming responsibilities be displayed in a single browser window. And that one sounds pretty cool. I think I'm going to have to spend some time setting it up, but you get the idea of some of the kind of deeper functionality that is built in to the different browser extensions. So that was what I found as I researched, and I did a search on people's favorite browser extensions. So that brings us to the end of the pre-recorded part. I'm really looking forward to entering into the Q&A now and hearing the browser extensions that you folks find invaluable. So we are back. That was an active chat, if anything.
Yes.
Are you guys there?
I'm here.
Oh, good. It seems to be going pretty well. We had a few technical issues. Were you guys dealing with many people with technical challenges?
I didn't see many. I saw a couple, yeah.
Yeah, just a few people had some audio issues. One person had said the video was not available, but we've got a goodly crowd on. We've got about 285, 290 people that were kind of on with us through we're just talking shop here about how Webinar Jam's holding up because we're always anxious about how it's all holding up. That was great. So good. Some really interesting chat going on, conversations. Before we go on, though, let me just quickly let you folks know about what's coming up next week. And actually, I'm just realizing I didn't load my keynote slides here before. I was all content. I did actually. There it is. Is it here? Do I have it all correct? No, I didn't. I didn't load the new one. But so I'll just fill you guys in. First of all, a big shout out and thanks to all of our patrons and Patreon. Now, several people asked during this, because I referred back to some of the earlier webinars. They asked where those webinars are. What we do with these webinars each week on Webinar Wednesday is we deliver them for free, as we're doing right now. They're available for 48 hours for you to share with your friends and view again. And then after that, we reserve them into our archives for our patrons at Patreon. Now, that's how we basically are able to do shows like this and create this content and kind of support the Dottotech team. Is because we get some financial support from nearly 500 people now at the crowdfunding site Patreon. We ask $10 a month. And for that, you get access to all of the webinar replays. And now we're up to 23 or 24 of these tutorial type webinars. As well, you get 50% off on all of our premium courses. And currently, you also get access to Evernote Made Easy, which we are refreshing at the beginning of August. And you'll get access to the refreshed course as well. But once we release the new course, we're raising the price on it for the general public, and we're pulling it from the Patreon patronage. So if you're thinking about signing up, it's a good time to sign up in the next couple of weeks.
Yes.
But the other bonus, of course, is you get access to all of the replays that we've been creating of all of the video, all of the different webinars. And we've got out well over 20 now. So they're doing very well as far as that's concerned. And maybe one of you can drop the link into the Patreon page there.
April's on it.
Next week, we've got something special. We've got a guest on, very popular with the Dottotech community. Brooks Duncan is joining us. And Brooks is the paperless office guru. He is my go-to guy for the paperless office. So I think we're going to be doing solving the paperless puzzle. We're going to be taking you through Brooks' paperless office system, how he uses technology scanners and digital cameras on his phone and puts together a system with that he lives a paperless lifestyle. Now, paperless is not completely paperless, but the key to paperless office is not actually getting rid of all the paper, because paper still comes into your life. It's having all the stuff that's on paper accessible to you in the future when you need it. So being able to have all of those documents online or on your computer so you can access them whenever and wherever you need them. So Brooks is going to be walking us through his system. And at the same time, we're going to be dusting off our course, Paperless Office Made Easy, which is a course that we've delivered. This will be the third time that the third cohort that we're putting through it. And we're going to be making that available. So if you want a summer project to be getting paperless, get rid of all the paper and getting yourself organized from that perspective in the world, so you're set for September when the real world starts to crash in around you again, this is perfect timing, because we'll be re-releasing Paperless Office Made Easy, and we'll start that up next week after Brooks's webinar, so we'll give you all the information on that. So that is it for the kind of the announcement side of today. Now, there was lots of questions about whether or not we'll be sending out links. We'll be going to be sending out all the links to everything that we talked about here today in an email that will go out a little bit later today. It takes me a couple of hours to get all of the webinar content together. It might take a little bit longer today because I've got some running around to do. But by the end of the day, the end of my day, there'll be a webinar replay going out to you along with an email that is going to have all of the replay content in it. So let's dive in and work my way through the questions.
You did a good job of answering a lot of them.
Yeah, you did, yeah.
We did answer a lot of. There was one question that I had that we had about RescueTime, and they were asking if RescueTime monitors other things other than your activities online, and it does. It measures how much time you spend in every application. So the amount of time I spend in Photoshop and in Keynote, it measures all of those things and gives you a report back. Another person asked if you could put it on the computer and it can monitor without the person knowing it's monitoring. And I believe that there might be a way to do that. It's not something. It's something that, of course, we want to tread carefully with. I think she was mentioning that she wants to track her son, and I know that companies have it so they can track employees' progress. But I think that there's I think that they certainly encourage you to let people know that you're doing that if that's the case. But you can just check out their site and use it. I use RescueTime all the time. And you know where RescueTime comes in beneficial to me is you sometimes don't recognize how much time you are spending on something. And as we're building out the Dottotech team, by looking at RescueTime, I could say, wow, I spent a lot of time in this app. Maybe this is something that somebody else can do for us that can, kind of lift some of that responsibility off my shoulders. So it's a great tool from that perspective. And also just kind of letting you know, just helping you stay disciplined, knowing that you're actually monitoring your own progress. It's pretty good from that perspective. So I think we're ready for questions now.
All righty.
Okay, so do I like Todoist? I'm going to work my way through here. Love, rather adore OneTab. Rosario said yes. Rosario, I think, one that also mentioned MixMax, which is a tool that I looked at and really, really liked. I already had a Boomerang license, but if I'd seen MixMax before I purchased Boomerang, I might have gone for it. It's got some additional features that are really nice. It's almost got CRM type, customer relationship management tools. And we do have a video on that on the site. I think, yeah, I do have a MixMax video. Maybe you can find that for us, Jen, and we can drop that in, and we'll add that. Okay. Do I like Todoist? Yes, David, I do like Todoist, and Todoist, of course, has all of the productivity tools have plugins, or all of the task managers have browser-based add-ons. Todoist isn't the tool that we choose to use. I use Asana because of how well it works for a team. But for single, I think Todoist will work in a group environment, but it's really outstanding as an individual, as a task manager for individuals. Okay, Scott, I just discovered Start.me to handle many bookmarks and place them into boxes on the screen, not really extensions, but good. You know, it's interesting. I don't know how much I use bookmarks anymore. We've got a few, and I tend to have a very few now. But I think that the browser companies themselves have done a good job of syncing bookmarks across, like, you know, your Google account, which has probably changed things for me. So I haven't explored bookmark managers, but we will definitely include this and make sure that other people know about it as well. And we'll have a boo at it before, but thank you for recommending that one there. Tech worked well. Great choice. Doesn't require to install app. John, there's a few people that really prefer the fact that we don't use tools when we're using, say, Zoom for webinars or GoToWebinar where you have to load an app. A lot of people aren't too happy with that perspective, but there's pluses and minuses, as we know. It said not available for 30 seconds. Oh, okay, came right back. So they were talking about the feed again. David, do I know the difference between a Firefox add-on and a plugin? Thanks. As far as I can tell, they're the same thing. If Firefox does, they talk about their extensions slightly differently, but I don't know a technical difference. Maybe somebody does, but I'm not positive, David. I don't have a solid answer for you on that. Have I ever tried FVD Speed Dial? No, John. Tell us what FVD Speed Dial does. But I have not tried it. Have either of you tried it? Why am I asking? David, thank you. Anne, thank you. We've got new patrons today. That's great. Got 3 new patrons so far today. Is the answer to Angel's question going out to all? What was Angel's question? Send a summary of tools? Yes. It'll be going out to everybody. Yeah, it won't be like a detailed summary. It'll be links so you can go and look at them yourself. Okay. So yes, Bev, it will be. I love live, I think means love, Sarah. The Quidco extension, as it's a reminder of where I can save money when shopping online, not productivity. Oh, I've seen a few of these extensions that look for the best coupon deals for you and stuff like that. I've never actually used one, but it's a good suggestion. Have either you used any of these shopping extensions?
I have not.
No,
okay. I haven't.
Yes. Everyone says, I subscribe to Pocket to store articles. I just started using Pocket so that I can compare it to Evernote. Pocket's a more of a reading app for storing things for you to read when you're, and store things for kind of future reference. Whereas Evernote is, I use Evernote slightly differently than I would use Pocket, but Pocket is a tremendous tool. It's one that we should have mentioned. And the Pocket app and the Pocket extension is a wonderful way to use Pocket. So what Pocket does is it basically stores, as you're browsing through articles, you basically store them for reading later. And then it stores them offline for you as well. So if you're on a plane or if you're on someplace that you don't have Wi-Fi or you don't want to use your data, you've got access to those articles that you've stored for reading in the future. And it syncs across platforms. So it's a sweet platform. They've done a really good job on Pocket. Yes. Do I know the difference between plugins and extensions? I can't tell you for sure. I think they're the same thing, pretty much. Do all these extensions significantly slow down your laptop? We've had that question so many times. And I keep a minimum. You saw the list of extensions that I have that I can enable. But I usually have about 10 or so running. I don't personally notice it slow down, but I've got a pretty powerful computer. I don't know if maybe somebody that technically knows if it does slow it down, but I think it's a RAM issue. It probably uses up RAM. And if you've got limited amount of RAM and you're running out of RAM, I think that would be an issue then. But if not, it probably isn't going to slow things down. I'm not on Patreon, but I bought the Evernote course. Do I get the refreshed version? Yes, D, you do. One of our philosophies here on Dottotech is everybody who's bought any of our courses gets the upgrades to that course in perpetuity. So version 3 of Evernote Made Easy will be made available to all the people who purchased Evernote Made Easy in the past. And there's a couple thousand of them now. We've had a lot of people go through that course. So that's, yep, we'll be sending out to everybody. Steve, could you please five us once Alain the name of the tool to allow open all browser tabs in one click? Oh, okay. There was the one. I think it's OneTab. Was that the one that I showed? Yeah, I think it was called OneTab. Jochen is the tool for taking all of your open tabs and condensing it into a digest. Works pretty nice, and it'll be in the email as well. Okay. Steve, get on with a question. I don't know what that means. Okay, well, because I was chatting about supporting us on Patreon. We're on to questions now. Okay, Ian says, I use Rapportive. Yes, it appear in Evernote Web Clipper, appear.in, Evernote Web Clipper, Mail Track, and Signal Private Messenger. Okay, Rapportive is a great tool. Rapportive is a tool, although I think they've discontinued parts of Rapportive, haven't they? You can correct me, but Rapportive, I think, isn't Rapportive the tool that, it's one that I really like, that tells you about people's social presence? Let me just take a quick move.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, it shows everything about your contacts right in your inbox. Okay, yeah. So it gives you it's a contact add-on that gives you information about your contacts. And I've liked Rapportive in the past. I think we have a video on it. But yeah, it's a good tool. And I haven't checked out Signal Private Messenger or Mail Track. So those are two that I'm gonna clip this and we're gonna add these into the list, and they're ones that we will have a look at. And who knows, perhaps there'll be a future Dottotech video on one of those, and it'll all have started right here with ENC. Good.
Woohoo!
Rosario, I like your pitch on having a paperless office. Be able to access all this stuff online whenever you want it. Not that we don't love paperback books. So you love having a book in your hands. Well, paperless office, I mean, that's reading. We don't necessarily espouse that, but if you need to look up a bill that you had a year and a half ago from the power company, looking through filing cabinets as opposed to being able to just quickly search it on your computer, that's a big time saver. And it's a good organizational. One thing about Brooks is he doesn't just teach you how to archive the stuff, but he sets up systems teaching you how to actually live the paperless life. To be honest, a little bit crazy. He's got a scanner by his front door. I'm just saying that's excessive. But we'll deal with that with Brooks next week. Do you have a webinar on setting up a members only site? No, I don't, Linda. We haven't done a webinar on setting up a members only site. The closest thing we have is I think I've got a blog post on setting up a Patreon site, which is very similar to setting up a member site. A big part of when you're talking about membership sites, you're talking about two different things. You're talking about the technology to manage it, which April will back me up on, can be a nightmare setting up member sites
Yes.
because handling all of the administration of it and all the technology and tying it into your website and just dealing with little issues that the membership sites have. And we've used several of them on Dottotech. We use Patreon very similar to a membership site, but it offloads all of that administrative responsibility. You make a little bit less money as a result, but overall we think that it's a much better experience. But it's something that I would think about doing. But boy, I almost feel like I'm falling behind now because we haven't used one in it's been a year and a half since we had our membership plugin installed in April.
Oh, thank goodness we no longer use it.
No, unfortunately, you can't do an annual subscription to Patreon. They haven't enabled that yet. So sorry, no, they don't have that. Have you heard about the Exit Loom? The extension Loom. No. What is Loom? Let's take a quick boo. Having a look with you. Everybody's typing it in at the same time. Loom. Oh, it's a video recorder. Loom video recorder, screen, webcam.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so it looks like it's similar to the to our ViewEdit or ViewEdit. I don't know, ViewEdit or ViewEdit. I don't know which. Does anybody know what that thing is? How the proper way to pronounce that is?
I think it's ViewEdit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it is too.
Okay, good. Okay, no, we haven't checked it out, but we will have a look, and we will certainly include it in the email going out. Let us know if you've used it, Don. Let us know if you like it. Good. Save to Pocket is probably my most clicked on extension. Ken says, "Good stuff, Ken." So Carlos is your name. It says, "What's the business model for extensions? Where do they get their money from?" That's a good question. For the most part, extensions are a service for a SaaS or a company. For example, Asana provides an extension because people want people to have easy access. Agorapulse, the extension is there to facilitate more effective use of the tool Agorapulse. Same with Evernote, same with Lastpass. And so those are all charged for products. The ones like ViewEdit, I think what those companies are doing is they're getting you comfortable with the concept of using email, using video as a one-to-one communications tool. And then they provide an upsell to an enterprise or a more secure or a higher quality service. So typically speaking, they're the leading edge into something or supporting an existing enterprise that's doing something else. But like you, I'm always a little bit suspicious if I see a plugin that doesn't have some sort of revenue model attached to it, because you worry that it won't be around. Looking through the list here of the ones that we talked about, the Facebook Pixel helper, but it's such a simple thing, and I think it's done by Facebook themselves. So again, it's something that works for them. All the rest of them are products that I end up buying a subscription to at some point. Buffer for sure, Grammarly for sure, bought a subscription to that. Bitly, you can, I don't, but you can, where you can customize your own URLs. So so for the most part, the color picker, I have no idea. I don't know, but some of them are quite simple from that perspective as well. Next, Joaquin says, "I need to name for the tool that open more than one browser tab with one click." We already said that. That is the OneTab, I believe is what it was called. No mention of ad blocker, Steve. Too controversial. I looked at it, and when I was researching what other people thought good browser extensions were, ad blocker did come up in a lot of cases, and I don't. Obviously, because I advertise online, it would be a little bit disingenuous for me to suggest that you start blocking ads when that's how I reach people and that's how I build my business. And I think ads are kind of for the most part, a relatively healthy part of the ecosystem for the online community. A lot of stuff comes about because we can make money, and the way we make money is by having people know about our product and ads. Now, when it obviously gets too much in some cases for others. But the other thing is, if you're going to start running ad blockers, you're going to be in conflict with Google and with Facebook and with everybody that's running the ads. So you're going to be creating an environment where your browser is trying to stop something that's kind of hard coded into the feed that's coming through, and other things might break as a result. So I just didn't see any margin in doing that. I know that many people use it, and I'm sure that you guys have, and I don't certainly mind you sharing your experience with the ad blockers, ones that work and ones that don't, but they're not a product that I'm ever really going to look at and test myself, just because it would be counterproductive for me to teach people how to block ads. Steve, the king of ad blockers, now he's got no business because nobody knows to buy his stuff. So that would be ironic.
A little bit.
How do you use Evernote in Keynote? Oh, he's asking Ken. Sorry, that was a question for somebody else. That's our MixMax video. Thank you for sharing that, Jen. Google Keep, I just discovered for documenting my gardening sessions. Good for you. Google Keep's an awesome tool. It's one that we haven't done much with, but it is an awesome tool. And David said I just became a patron. So yes, you did, David. We saw that. Thank you so much. Welcome aboard. As I mentioned, we have David, we have Anne, and we have Jeffrey, all new patrons. Deb, how are we doing for time? Got a couple minutes. Do you find that Chrome crashes or doesn't load properly when you have so many extensions? I have Chrome on a Mac, and it automatically starts up when my computer and the extensions don't load properly. No, haven't had that issue. You saw I have a lot of extensions installed but not enabled, so they don't actually load. And so I only have, as I say, the number of extensions here. I'll just count them right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 extensions. And that's it. 16 extensions. That's it. Just 16.
That's it.
But several of those are enabling extensions for doing screen sharing with our webinar platforms, because we use so many webinar platforms. So 3 of those are for that. And then I've got the Facebook Pixel, or not the Facebook Pixel, yeah, the Facebook Pixel one. And I've also got TubeBuddy, which only works when we're in YouTube. So there's a couple that are kind of really site specific as far as that goes. But yeah, 16, and I don't notice it crashing. It almost never crashes.
My Chrome always crashes.
Really?
Yeah, I always have problems. I've seen it, and I find that it's certain applications, it crashes more than others, Infusionsoft being one of them.
But Infusionsoft recommends we use Firefox.
It does, but they did become available in Google Chrome like a year ago. But
yeah.
I find that even though my Google Chrome's up to date, a lot of times I have to reinstall my extensions, especially Grammarly. I love Grammarly, and I'm always reinstalling it.
I haven't had to reinstall it once, but I don't run Infusionsoft in Chrome. I do it in Firefox, and I also always have Safari running with my Google account stuff in it. So I keep multiple browsers running. I've got 32 gig of RAM. I'm so special.
Ooh.
But yeah.
You know what I noticed?
Mine never crashes.
And it could be because I noticed some of these content sites that I've been to, they actually ask you to add the extension right on for notifications. And I think some of that may have to do with it. Because I'm always looking for new content. So I have these pop-ups. Oh. Maybe that's why.
Yeah, I think you're spending too much time in the dark side. Okay. Robert says, Xmarks does bookmarks across all browsers, and it's a Lastpass company. Good one. We'll check that one. As I said, bookmarks isn't in there that I've noticed need, but maybe I'll discover it if I take a look. Pinboard. Oh, yeah, bookmark manager, and they bought Delicious. Yeah, Pinboard is another bookmark manager. Good point. Which one there? Okay. Jeff, are you worried about RescueTime being Big Brother? No, I'm not really worried about it. I mean, if they know that I spend, an hour and a half a day on YouTube, I guess that there's a way that they could market that and leverage that, knowing what I'm doing. But I'm not particularly worried that they're Big Brother. But I can understand and I don't. If you do, I'm not going to mock it. There's plenty. Privacy is it's as far as I'm concerned, mostly privacy is just a faint memory of days gone by. That's their privacy anyways. I love Lightshot, says Jason, which is a quick resizable screen grab. Okay, yeah. The screen grab tools, and I've seen several comments of people that are using a variety of different screen grab tools. And screen grab tools, for the most part, often are system extensions rather than browser extensions. So just so you know the difference, browser extensions, of course, apply to the browser itself. System extensions apply to everything. So that's why Lastpass installed, and actually that might be an issue. If you install Lastpass in Chrome, it might just test what you do in Chrome, whereas I install at system level. That's why it's looking at my whole system. I never thought of that. Whoever asked this question, good question. And they didn't ask the question, but at any rate. But I've got system extensions, which might be another really good webinar for us to do. I use Text Expander there. I've got my webcam tool. Dropbox is installed as a system extension, as is Lastpass. Sketch is the screen capture tool. I've got one that controls the color of my screen. I've got I've got another one. Well, I've got a ton of system extensions installed. But they apply to your whole system, whereas browser extensions just apply to the browser session. That's good. We should have probably talked about that earlier. That's an important fact. Okay, first time on, and this is awesome. Thank you. Well, thank you, Linda. Welcome aboard. I'm glad that you found us. Tell us how you found us. How did you discover us? What brought you in? We'd love to know that. Audio is fine. Video keeps pausing. Okay, Ed.
Just so you know, it's the top of the hour.
Yes, it is. Yes. And Marilyn K said, "Honey." I don't know what that means, but maybe
honey.
You on me.
It's the beard. It's the beard.
And it's an extension.
Oh, it's an extension. Here I was getting all puffed up. Okay, we'll check it.
Oh, honey, it's okay.
It's okay.
Oh, honey.
That's right. It is the top of the hour. So anybody who has to leave right now, please feel free. We will continue answering questions until they're all wrapped up. You will get an email a little later today. You'll get one email with the replay right away, pretty much right away, which is going to be a built-in replay that comes from Webinar Jam. I do another replay that I'll post to YouTube, which you'll get access to. And with that replay, when we send out that link, I will send you notification of the, I'll send you the list of all of the resources. But that's going to be a little bit later today. That's going to be a few hours away. And you'll also be getting notification starting in our newsletter tomorrow for the Paperless Office webinar we're doing with Brooks next week, which should be really, really good. And that's it, right? That's everything. Can't think of anything else that's happened in the Dottotech front right now. So thanks so much for tuning in. If you do have to run now, we will catch you in email and hopefully next week during Webinar Wednesday. Till next time, have fun storming the castle. And for everybody that's sticking around with us, we will work our way through the rest of the questions. We got a lot of questions.
Yeah.
I've got to go do a publicity photo. I have to leave here within like 25 minutes from now. I have to leave because I'm getting my picture taken for the local newspaper. They're talking about the musical we're in.
Oh, you're like a celebrity.
Well, it's,
fancy.
Totally. You're so
My
funny.
daughter
Every
and
time
I
you
are-
talk about the play.
It's a human interest story because Emma is in the show with her dad.
Yeah.
They said, do I give her lots of advice on stage? And I go, no, but she tells me what to do a lot. And that's the truth.
That's her job.
Is
That's
that the note
right.
you're supposed to be, she stands next to me. Is that the note you're supposed to be singing, Dad? Are you sure?
Of course it is.
I
The one
think,
I'm singing.
I think children are born to tell you what to do and what not to do.
That's right. Is there anything to keep multiple screenshots in memory? There are multi-clip clipboards that can have multiple clippings, and I imagine they would keep multiple screenshots as well if you copy them to your clipboard. So the clipboard managers is what you're going to be looking for there, Scott, and that will do it. And I know that we've done one. Do I have one installed right now? PopClip. Yeah, PopClip is the one that I have installed right now, and it will do that, I think. So yes. And if you check out, actually, Jen, can you look up PopClip? We did a video on it.
Yes.
Okay. I use Honey, which is a shopping app that finds coupon savings. That's good. And that's Shannon. I don't think that's my Shannon, but it's another Shannon. There we go.
Or maybe Shannon's trying to tell you something. She's been shopping.
No, Shannon doesn't watch the webinars. She avoids them. You're doing another webinar? Yay, honey. Good for you. Okay. I have saved over $400 using Quidco over a few years. So that's another shopping app, I bet. Wow, I didn't know there were so many of these shopping apps. Okay.
I didn't either. I might have to get on that.
Can RescueTime work on a network installed on network computers as I work on a few computers? Yeah, it'll follow you around. RescueTime does. My one account I have installed on my notebook and my desktop, and it combines the time, if that's what you're asking, Rich. Yes, it combines the time. Jill's used Honey. Good. Thank you, Steve. Been chatting with Ken about Pocket. Good to see that, Abram. That's the other thing. We like to make friends here on Dottotech. It's good.
Yes.
According to Mozilla, plugins help the browser display content, such as playing media. Extensions allow you to add new functionality. Oh, okay. Todd comes through with the description. So, plugins allow it to display content. Extensions allow it to add new functionality. Okay. I think it's kind of a gray area. So I can understand why we're confused.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. Iska also. Oh, there's another one. Plugins help the browser display content, such as playing, and extensions will actually add new functionality. One are programs which runs inside. There are programs that actually run inside of Firefox. Got it. Thank you, Iska. Quidco, that's that's a UK one, cashback and voucher code site. Okay, that's Alan said that through. We've already had that comment on that one. Good. Can RescueTime work on network installed computers? Yes, we've answered that question. Do new patrons get the Evernote course too, David? Yes, they do. New patrons until we change the terms of service, which won't be until August. So yes, they get access to it, and they will get access to the refreshed one as well when that comes out. So new patrons will be fully enrolled in everything. Yes, indeed. Rosario says, Steve, as I tried Sorked, it's a web clipper to save snippets of info in research and writing. No, I haven't. I think it's Sourced would be how it's pronounced, SORCD. No, I haven't, but we're adding it to the list that we will incorporate in the email. But so I save all of my snippets of that sort of stuff to Evernote. That's the way that I do it, but we'll have a look at that. I use Bookmark Manager Symbaloo, and I love it, Jim. That's a good name. I like that, Symbaloo. It's like Scooby-Doo, Symbaloo. Okay, Symbaloo. I'm surprised how many people use Bookmark Manager still. Yes. Does LastPass work with Chrome? Absolutely, Rich. It does. Do not laugh. I have 1,500 tabs in OneNote. Sorry, I said don't laugh. Okay, Ian, I use Rapportive and to see past email activity. Yeah, Rapportive's good tool. Good tool. Do you know how much you know about Google Keep? I like the speech to task. I haven't used Google Keep, and it's one that it's like it keeps coming back to me. We've got to do a video on Google Keep some point. One of you ladies has to remind me. Do a Google Keep video, Steve.
Steve, do a Google
Don't
Keep
say it
video.
now. Don't say it now. It's just too easy. And there it is. Loom is great. We had another vote for Loom. I like Soapbox better than Loom. Oh, now we got a Soapbox versus Loom battle looming. You see how I did that? Okay. They both sent me messages in Slack. Do Google Keep video. I literally just got 2 Slack notifications. One from April and one from Jen. Do a Google Keep video, Steve. Nice.
We're on it.
It's not going to get done till it's in Asana. That's all I'm saying.
No.
Jill, I also like to know what you think. Look, they're working on an ad blocker. Not sure if it speeds up or slows me down. We discussed it, and again, I don't know whether it slows you down, but I think it could have an issue. Oh, TechSmith Jing. Yeah, the TechSmith tools, the TechSmith capture tools and stuff are really well conceived tools. They do a great job. They're the people that make Camtasia. Yeah. Teresa says, I will love Zoom. They're super responsive and free, so I can use it with my remote team for SOPs. What's an SOP? Okay, I don't know. Good. Instapaper. Yes, Instapaper is a competitor, really kind of a competitor for I'm losing the names now. The clipping one for books. Okay, but Instapaper, very, very good as well. The logo looks like ViewEdit. Okay, Mike says, well, when I was asking about the name. Loom is to record short videos and attach the emails. Yes, got it. Malky says, this might have gotten covered, but I got a call and missed it earlier. Do you cover any privacy concerns regarding extensions? No, we didn't cover any privacy concerns, and you've basically got to always be on guard a little bit about what exactly you're sharing. For the most part, though, I guess extensions could certainly invade your privacy at some point. So no, but we did not discuss the security aspects of it, although we did discuss security extensions. An extension like extensions requesting access to manage your files. Yeah, no, we didn't talk about that at all. What about Snagit? Carrie, Snagit is what I was talking about from TechSmith. It's a great screen capture tool. But I do believe they charge for it. I don't believe there's a free version. I'm not positive. But you certainly get it with when you buy Camtasia, and it's a really good tool. Okay. Not an extension in Safari, but Reader View is great. It cuts out, the ads from the view without using an ad blocker. Yeah, so you can go into Reader View within say the Safari, or if you're in Evernote, when you go to use the Evernote Web Clipper, you can strip out all of the ads as I showed you for when you're saving it, which helps to make it easier to read. And Evernote has an extension too called Clearly, Evernote Clearly, that allows you to view all of your pages without any of the ads or sidebar information being shown. Session Buddy, quite valuable. Session Buddy is quite valuable, or this session is. I think Session Buddy is actually. an extension, but we'll take a look for it as we get along. What am I doing? Oh man, we still got to. Oh, okay, we're getting close. We're getting closer. I'm hoping I'm not missing anything. Okay. Jing, yes. Jing is TechSmith tool, right? I think it might be the free version of the TechSmith tool. Well done for muting your mic on time, Jen Butler. Very well done.
Thank you. I was scrambling.
I use a Proto Page for bookmarking. Okay, another bookmarking tool. People still do the bookmarking thing. It's amazing. I have to check out. Maybe we should do a video on bookmarking. That would be good. Working through the last of the questions, Rich. A cool productivity app extension is Unroll.me. It is. Unroll.me is a tool that installs into Gmail, into your email, and it basically pulls all of your different subscriptions together, all of your different emails, newsletter subscriptions, and allows you to create a digest of them, and it really reduces your inbox clutter. And it is a tool that we featured in the past, Rich. A great tip there. Peggy, could you include some information on system extensions in your replay email if you don't cover it here? No, we're not going to do that today, Peggy, but it will be a future webinar because its system extensions deserve their own piece in it. We just wouldn't be able to do justice to it in the amount of time we have. All right, Kimberly, will Steve be live streaming the show he and his daughter in? No. No, Disney would have me. We're in Mary Poppins. And the rights around it, I mean, we have to be careful with everything we share on that. I can't even sing you a song from it, I think, right now, which I wouldn't do anyways, but no, we won't be live streaming the show. We got a lot of questions. I also announced the date of our wedding. I'm getting married next April. And the number of people that in the post said, are you going to be live streaming the wedding was just rather distristurbing. I think people want to attend the wedding and they don't want to bring a present is the problem. I think that's a problem.
Maybe you could have it where it's they have to add their email address to collect an email address, and then they have to pay.
Yeah, that would be good. I'm not going to use my wedding as a list builder, but I don't mind charging for it. Although nobody.
I was going to say nobody wants to come because they heard you were charging.
That was just an idea I was floating, and it was a good idea, but we won't talk about it right now. Okay. So I'm just kind of cruising through and I'm picking out the last of the questions. Standard operating procedures. Thank you, Kimberly. Oh, good stuff. Yes, everybody knows. How did we not know SOP was standard operating procedures? Apparently, our entire community knew that it was.
I'm realizing I knew what it was, and Greg would be very disappointed in me as a military wife. Prior military wife.
Free. Tom says, and Snagit is less than $50. Good stuff. Could you do a video on OCR tools? That's not a bad idea. Thank you, Samuel. Good choice. Good suggestion. Yes, we could. We could do something on that. I think Evernote has ended support for Clearly. Could well be, Frank. As I recall, I think they've rolled all of the technology that was in Clearly just into the Evernote Web Clipper. You may well be right, Franklin. Thank you for that. Yes. For my information, Jen's audio echoes started after coming back from the pre-recorded session. Interesting. Okay. So that could be happening here or somewhere else. So that's good. I think that we are at an end.
Did we make it?
Yeah, we did make it. And right on I think we've just got to start accepting the fact that these webinars take an hour and 15 minutes, that we never get them
right
done
on the dot.
They always take an hour and 15. It's almost eerily accurate in how long they take.
I plan for 90 minutes, so.
There you go. Well, I'm glad that you do. Folks, thank you so much. I do have to run. As I said, the webinar replay will go out. Great engaged group today. We certainly enjoyed having all of you in. We still have 130 some odd people here. I think we were at a peak of nearly 300 people in the room, and Webinar Jam held up. That's really good news. We'll use it again next week. We'll go back to it. I like a lot of what it brings to the table, so we will do that. And that's it. So till next time, Jen, thank you very much. April, rockstar as usual. Thank you all for coming. Remember, jump on to Patreon. Give us your support. We appreciate it hugely. We look forward to seeing you next week when we're going to be covering Paperless Office Made Easy. Till then, have fun storming the castle.